Welcome back to the Artisan of Glimmith. I spent some time looking around in windows and under things between episodes, without actually looking at any of the puzzles. And I cannot find anything other than the 7, the 6, the 5, and this 4. This says that there's one short of the 23, and this has 3 extra puzzles. That has 3 extra puzzles. I'm thinking this is going to have 3 extra puzzles, which probably means that this 4 that's been sitting here the whole time is the one required puzzle in this section, and that doing that one allows you to pass on into the next section. So what I'm going to do is ignore that one. Unless I find another reason to ignore it. I am going to assume that that is the gateway to the next section and do the 5, then the 6, then the 7 here. So let's get into it. L's. Everything's an L. Well, that's got to do that. If I see that if this were to do, that's terrible drawing. If this were to do that, this would have to do that, which would just mess everything up. If this were to do that, then this one would be bad. So I'm thinking it has to do that. No. That's not right either. Because, wait, yes, that way. And then that way. Yes, that allows everything to go. Okay. That's what we're going to go with. We'll put one here. One here. One here. Here. This one comes down. This one goes up. This can't do that. It does this. Then that. This one is an L here. Then there's that L. This L. This L. An L here. There. That one. This one. This has to do that. There's no other way than that. We've got that, and finally that. And that was a difficulty 5. Okay. A handful of gold. Guild 5 windows. Well, that was much shorter than I thought it would be. Let's move on to number 6. 2x2s and 3x3s. I can do a 2x2 here and here, here and here, and here, and here. Different color, please. Ooh. 2, 2, 2, and a 3, or 3, 3, 3, and a 2. 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, or 3, 3, 3, 2. Uh-huh. Okay. Right in here. This area right here. This must be 3. This is a 2, and this is a 2. Here there must be 3. That is a 3 there. And that's a 3. They could be the same 3 if this is a 2 and a 2 is here. Like that, and that, and then that. Or this could be a 3 here, and then another 3 here, and a 2 here. Either of those works if I don't look out to other things. Between these two, right here, that's 4. 3 and nothing is 4, because there's no 1. So I can't do 3 and 1. Therefore, this is going to have to be a 2 and a 2. It might be that there's a border here and here, or just on one of them. Well, it wouldn't be like that. In fact, it wouldn't be. Okay. Yes. If there were a border here, then I could not. I just cannot draw a straight line. Then I could not do that because that would be creating a region like that. Those are not valid. So there is a border here. There is not a border across here on either side. That means okay, I still don't know. I still don't know if I'm going to have 2x2, 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 or that, and that. But these are closed off. Okay. Hmm. Well, thanks for the challenge here. Okay. Something. If this were to have a border here and have a 3x3 there and a 3x3 here, this one would at least come out to there. It would go all the way up here, but it would at least come out to here. On the other hand, if that were a 2 and that were a 2 and this were a 3, it would come out to here. Which means that this has to come out there. I don't know if it's part of that or that, but it must do that. And it cannot go past here, which means there's another shape here. This one right here cannot be a 3. It must be a 2 and a 2. I have now blocked that, so I can do that, and that means that. This one is another 2x2. This is at least 2x2. It could go to 3x3. Can I apply this anywhere else? If this is a 3x3, then if this is a 3x3, it would have to take that and that. If this is just a 2x2, and this is a 2x2, then this 3x3 has to go all the way out there. Either way, it takes that. It cannot go past there, which gives me another one here, forcing this one to go that way. And that. Now either that or that must be a 3x3. This cannot go there. Over here, that has to do that. And it can't take that, so it's done, which means this does that. Then there's one here. Different colors, please. Here. This is a 3x3. And then this one takes that. Different color. 2x2. 2. 2. 2. 2. Now this 2x2 must be next to another 2x2. And this is a 3x3. And then a 2x2. Here is a 2x. No, I don't know that. Undo that. Here is at least a 2x. Here is a 2x because it can't take that. Which means this one is 3. Which makes this one a 2. And that one a 2. Now this must be a 3. Whoops. Like that. Now this is just 2. which means this one's 3, and it's done. I was fully expecting those to take twice as long as they took. Here we go. Extreme challenge ahead. Difficulty 7 is the highest in the game. The other one was only a 6. The one that was a 7 in another person's video that I saw was only a 6 in here. They edited the difficulty. Either it was actually easier or they made a slight change to it. I'm not sure. Difficulty 7 is the highest in the game. These puzzles are diabolically tough. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Okay, let's see. There are T's and L's. This must be part of an L. That could be an L or a T. Either way, it's going to take that. This is part of an L. That could be an L or a T. And this one, I can't say that it definitely takes this because maybe this is the L. That has to take that. And this has to take that. This piece right here cannot be part of a T. It must be part of an L. If it goes up here, it takes that. Because it cannot reach. And if it goes this way, again, it cannot reach, and it must take that one as well. So this takes both of those. This could be a T to take that and that. Okay, over here again, just like this one, this cannot be part of a T. There's no little sticking out bit. It must be part of an L. And because of its position, it must take both directions. But I don't know how far it goes. This could be an L if it goes this way. Otherwise, it's a T, which takes two out of three of these, but it could be any two of them. It could be a T that goes like that. 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 Or that. I don't want to just take a guess at it, really. This, if this is part of a T, it's doing that. Which would block that and block that. It would mean that that was there and that was there. And that was there, and I think I'm taking a guess at this now. Dang it. What is there in here? I know that this cannot be part of a T. It must be part of an L. It is either part of this L or it is part of a different one. And this becomes, if this were a T, this would be broken. So this can't be a T. So if this is an L and it takes that, then there's an L here. Or it's an L and it goes this way, and then this one is that. Either way, this takes that. It might continue and take those, I don't know. That means, well, it means that this can't be a T here, because then what would this be? Instead, if these are separate, this is taking all of that, which means this would not be part of that. It would be a separate L. Like that, and this would be broken. That would not work. If this did that, that would be that, that would be that, and this would be broken. That means that this does not do that. Which means this is tools that. Now I know that this is that. That is there. Now this must be part of an L, which is here. That could be a T and take that, or an L to take that. This one is an L taking that or that. This comes out here. This one is an L. But I don't know if it takes that one or that one. I do know that this is not an L now. This is a T. if it takes that and that, then this goes that way. If it takes that, then this goes this way and this goes that way. If it takes that, then that one does that, this one does this, this one comes out here, and there's another L there. Most of the ways well, I can't really rule based on most of the ways that it works. No. No playing odds like that. That just does not work. It is as likely to not be the most common possibility as it is to be the most common, despite that not seeming to make sense. Because the more restrictive path is often the one that is used. Well, this gave me those. What else can I find? If that, then that. There are still many possibilities here. So no. If that, then that. That would mean that that wouldn't be possible there. So it would mean that. Oh, that doesn't really help me any. Can I say that this has to do that? I don't think I can. That wouldn't even tell me the difference between that and that. Can I do that and force that one? Well, now this one would have to do that, which would take that, and that would happen. And then this would be a T like that. Which would give me an L there. L, L, T, T. It doesn't even restrict that. Huh. This one is difficult. I'll give it that. This has now taken me as long as the other two combined. So maybe you're seeing this running faster. If it takes me long enough, I split it in half. Ooh, I hope that doesn't happen. Both shapes are 4. That doesn't help. This is a T. I just don't know which of the possibilities it is. I really don't know which way to go with this. Is that a T or an L? Either way, this is an L. Does it take that or that? Well, I guess I'm gonna have to just do this. Let's see. If I make that a T, L, if this is a T, that, if I put T's anywhere I can, I mean, that's ridiculous. That broke. That broke. If I do that, and I do that, then I have to do that. Maybe it does that. And this is broken. Or, yeah, that is broken. So if this instead is an L, then there's another L here. This must be a T. This is a T. Now that is an L that ends there, which means this is a T like that. No, it doesn't mean that. It is a T, but it doesn't mean it's like that. Again, it's broken because I've got this that has to come out to here and this that has to come out to here. That was based on this being a T or an L. If that happens, and that, that, and that, and that, and that. That would have to do that. That, this. There it is. I don't like getting to a solution like that. But it seems to happen a lot. Whoops. No. Up to 7. Solve a difficulty 7 puzzle. Okay, that is going to do it for this one. Yes, I'm at +2, not at +3. Is that part of this puzzle? This shape, this window? We'll find out next time. Thanks for watching. I'll see you then. Bye.